So here I have a package which has just arrived from the Czech Republic. It got to Australia really quickly. So it got here in 4 days, and then Australia Post took over, and it sat at a post office for 10 days because they didn't let me know that it had arrived. But that's good old Australia Post. If you're actually overseas and you have to deal with Australia Post, don't, just find another way that you can to get stuff into Australia, because they just don't care. Anyway, now this company, a lot of people might be familiar with that. So my Czech's not the best, but I believe the U makes an I sound, so it's more like Miller rather than Muller. Anyway, but look what they throw into the box. Got own little mini Hot Wheels. Like, I do have a couple of these, but actually I'll show you later, because the one that I have, it's a bigger packet, which I don't know why they do that. That's a freebie one that they throw in, which is good. Now, I ordered not only the bracket from this company, but the steering stabilizer itself. So this is a Scott steering stabilizer, made in the USA. If you have one of these, all you'll need to do is order the bracket, because it comes with this part as part of the kit. You just don't get the steering stabilizer. But if you order steering stabilizer and the bracket all in one, they fit it for you. So yeah, I didn't have one, so I needed it. It worked out. Like all this, if I bought this in part, so if I bought this in Australia and the bracket overseas and got it imported, it's about the same price. It really is. You just don't have, you've got to pay tax and that when it comes in to customs, which is an absolute nightmare. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So that's the steering stabilizer. And then this is the bracket and the mount. So I have to take the little quad lock off, and this replaces the OEM steering stabilizer brackets. So we'll need to take all this off and work out how it all mounts up. On their Facebook page for Miller, so I'll throw that up there again. I'll put a link down the bottom as well. So on their Facebook page, and they do have a YouTube channel as well. They do a very good installation video on how to do this. There's no sound or anything on it, but that's what we're going to be rolling with. You can get this in red as well. Like, red was the original color that they did. When I ordered this, there was no red in stock, but I've just checked now and they've got red and black back in stock. It didn't worry me either way. Black blends in more with what you got going on here, but the wheels I ordered red centers, so it would have worked out like that anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we've got some longer bolts because we need to take the handlebars off, get them out of the way, take this original steering stabilizer off, quad lock off. So what I'll do now is I'll take the quad lock off and the steering stabilizer, and then we'll work out where all this goes. Okay, so if we just look at this steering stabilizer, look how easy it is to push in and out. So I'm pretty sure that got blown out when I was up in Cape York. I could go get this replaced under warranty, but it's going to have exactly the same problem. The Scott's dampeners are fully adjustable, fully rebuildable. So next time it goes for a service, I'll take this in and show them, but I'm not interested in getting another one of these put back on for it to be blown out pretty much after the next trip. So this is good for, on road. Like, people go, oh, how much resistance do you want? That's very little resistance. And then I'll notice when it does heat up, you've got even less. So it's time for this to go. All right, so all these brackets have to come off. So when the new one comes on, it's going to change the way that the fuel tank comes on and off as well. So it may be a little bit more difficult, not sure yet, because after I get these brackets off, the handlebars have to come off so I can mount the other bracket. But yeah, we'll get to that. Right, let's take these two brackets off. So there we have the bracket and all nuts and bolts laid out. On the back of the bracket, you'll notice it's got 4 little bolts screwed to here. Now you can make this whatever you want. So ideally, what I plan to do in the future is just make an L bracket that comes up, which will be over the handlebars. And that's what I'll mount drone controls to. So I don't know what they're planning on making with this, but that's a fairly common pattern there. But that's what I'm planning to do with this. So make a bracket up so I can mount the drone controls for future travels. But the first thing we need to do is these 2 little bolts here to replace that last bracket to the left that we just took off, just to fill in the gaps. Okay, so these little replacement bolts, Torx bit. So we'll just screw them in lightly for the minute, just to do them up. Okay, they're in. It's going to grab the torque wrench because they got to be torqued to 6 Isaac Newtons. Okay, got it set to 6. Like 6 is nothing really. All right, step 1 complete. All right, next we have to unbolt the handlebars, but what we'll do is just grab a rag, drape that there. 8mm Allen key. Just loosen these off and I'll probably grab the ratchet in a second. So here's a little tip, just mark the position of your handlebars if you really like where they are, so I do. $8mm Allen key, and we're taking these all the way off. You can leave them like that, or you can throw a ocky strap around if you really think they're going to go anywhere, but they should be okay. Oh, I've just noticed some more red dust that I haven't quite got to yet. Oh, clean that up when we need to. Now, the 2 bolts that hold this in have to come out also, but underneath, you need to be careful that you don't drop the nut. So then we grab a 15mm socket or a small spanner just to sit on the bottom. Grab an 8mm Allen key. And these are on pretty tight. On the bottom where the nut is, there's like a shim. Don't drop it. So just take your time with this bit. Okay. So that shim that you're not supposed to drop, don't drop it, which I just did. That's right. All it is just a little washer. But if you do drop it, just make sure you know where it goes. Don't leave it in the engine anyway. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we'll rotate the front tyre. Just drag that all the way over. I've got the rear up on a stand just to make this a little bit easier. And we do the same thing here. Ideally, we need to get this fully off. For this one I might just need to grab a spanner. Okay, so for this side you're going to need a 15mm spanner that's fairly small. So I don't have a small 15mm, but I do have a lot of 14-15s. So cut that bad boy in half, and we have a small 15 that's going to fit on there nicely. That's all right. And then we get the nut and that all in one go. Cool. And we have the 2 washers there. All right, didn't lose anything. We're winning so far. Okay, so now that we've taken the bottom bracket off and keep those little washers that sit underneath here, grab the 2 new bolts that came with the kit because they are slightly longer. Drop them in. Now, from Muller Motorsport, you can get risers. So that's where you would put the risers on now. Otherwise, just grab your unit, pop that unit on like that. Then with the original little washers, drop them on and sit the unit back on the bike. So with the new nuts that you get, just put a little dab of Loctite on there. And the original washer. Let's get that washer on. Just going to give this one a little nip up. And I think the new nuts, yeah, new nuts are bigger. The new nuts are 17mm, which is a much better size. Now I've got that side on. Before we go crazy tightening it up, I'll just get this side on. A little bit of Loctite. This side's a lot easier because the other side has a cable in the way. All right, found another old 17mm ring spanner just to make shorter. Yeah, fits nicely. Okay, that is the bottom section installed. So we'll just straighten up the wheel again and find out what's going on next. Here I am just trying to film the steering stabilizer. This little guy's come to check it out. Can't stay in here, bud. It's going to get too hot. So, male king parrot. What, you want to go a trampoline, do you? Come on, you got to go out. I think you want to get out pretty quick if this bike starts up. So now it's time to install this bottom bracket, which goes there like so. Now for this one, you need the smaller Allen bolts that come in the kit. I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on them. So this bracket will have to come off when you need to take the tank off, because obviously it's covering that top bolt. So we don't want to go too crazy with the Loctite, but enough that it's not going to vibrate loose. And let's grab the torque wrench. These get torqued up to 11 Newton meters. Okay, done. Okay, so there's like a little machine key that comes in the kit. Just put that in there and make sure it's in line with pretty much that gap in the head stem there. So then we grab our 2 longer bolts, a little bit of Loctite. Grab our steering stabilizer, pop that 1 bolt in. Might have to tilt the wheel a little bit to get this on. And just adjust the bottom on so it slots in, like so. Just grab the Allen key to start off with. Make sure it's on the little key. And just start screwing in. All right, grab the torque wrench again. We'll just straighten up the wheel again. And these are at 11 as well. And that is not ideal. Just as it did up to 11, she snapped off. It's all right, I can get that out. I managed to get it out. That's it there. That would have been an absolute nightmare if I couldn't get that out, because then you can't get the tank off. Yeah, so last time I used those ones, I keep breaking them. Okay, I think we're ready to put the handlebars back on. I'm just trying to find my little white marks. Put you there. Yeah, I may have to adjust these because there's what, a 5mm riser under there now because of that, the bracket, but we'll see how we go. And then the handlebars get torqued to 25 Newton meters. So now we have a steering stabilizer that works, and we can adjust it for how much feedback we want. So if we want to stiffen it up, just go to the right, just keep turning. That's max stiffness, which that's a lot. So we can just back it off for when we're not in the sand. And we've got full control now. Good thing about this one, it's fully serviceable, unlike the other one. And secondly, it actually works. So, yeah. One thing left to do is go test it out on the road.